What if the most dangerous Targaryen who ever lived was born 200 years too early? Rhaenyra had dragons, Aegon had armies, Daemon had Vhagar, but none of them had what Daenerys Targaryen had. And that one difference would have changed everything. The Dance of the Dragons is the bloodiest civil war in Westerosi history. 2 Targaryens, 1 throne, 20 dragons, and a realm that burned to nothing because neither side could stop. Now imagine Daenerys, the woman who broke the wheel, who freed slaves across an entire continent, who walked into fire and didn't flinch, living in the middle of it. Not as a conqueror, not yet, as a girl, born to the same blood, the same fire, but 2 centuries before she was meant to exist. The question isn't whether she would have survived. The question is whether anyone around her would have. Let's be honest about something. Rhaenyra Targaryen and Daenerys Targaryen are the same woman, both robbed of their birthright. Both surrounded by people who underestimate them. Both absolutely certain they are the rightful ruler. Both willing to burn the world to prove it. They would have recognized each other instantly, and they would have hated each other within a week. Because Rhaenyra plays the game. She negotiates. She waits. She trusts people who betray her again and again because she believes in councils, in lords, in rules, in the system. Daenerys doesn't believe in any of that. Daenerys burns the wheel. The moment Rhaenyra hesitates, and she always hesitates, Daenerys acts. When Rhaenyra tries to protect Storm's End through letters and alliances, Daenerys is already in the air. When Rhaenyra mourns Lucerys, Daenerys is declaring war. And this is where Rhaenyra's side begins to fracture. Because you cannot have 2 queens, and Daenerys has never, not once in her life, been anyone's second option. Now, here's where it gets dangerous. Daemon Targaryen is the most unpredictable, charismatic, violent man in Westeros. He lives for fire and chaos and watching people decide in real time whether to follow him or run. Daenerys is the only person in the room who doesn't blink. They would have been magnetic to each other. 2 people who understand, deeply, instinctively, that power is never given, it's taken. Daemon would have seen in her the fire that Rhaenyra buries under grief and politics. Daenerys would have seen in Daemon the ruthlessness she always fought to control in herself. Together, the Dance of the Dragons ends in a month, but together means one of them leads and one of them follows, and neither of them has ever followed anyone. Daemon would eventually try to position himself above her, quietly, carefully, the way he does everything, with a smile and a blade hidden behind it. And Daenerys would see it coming from the very first day. Here's the moment everything changes. Rhaenyra loses Lucerys, her son, killed by Aemond and Vhagar in a flash of violence that was supposed to be a warning, not a murder. In the show, Rhaenyra breaks, she grieves. She delays, she burns and retreats and watches her allies fall away one by one. Daenerys does not break. She has lost a dragon before. She has lost people she loved before. And every single time, that loss became fuel. Within 2 days of Lucerys dying, Daenerys has her dragon in the air over King's Landing. No council meeting, no political calculation, no warning delivered by Raven. She doesn't want Aegon to surrender. She wants him to watch what happens to his city when he doesn't. And this is where the story turns dark. Because Daenerys without checks, without Tyrion whispering caution, without Missandei's gentleness, without Jon Snow's conscience, is not the mother of dragons. She is the Mad Queen. She doesn't become Rhaenyra's savior. She becomes the thing both sides fear. She starts burning, and she cannot stop. The lords who marched for Rhaenyra pull their banners. Daemon flies after her screaming. Rhaenyra watches from Dragonstone, helpless, horrified. Daenerys doesn't hear any of it. 3 possible endings. Ending 1, Daemon reaches her, not with force, with words. He is the only one in Westeros who speaks her language, the only one who understands that you cannot give someone like Daenerys an order. You have to give her a reason. He does. She stops. King's Landing stands. Aegon surrenders. The dance ends in weeks instead of years. Daenerys and Daemon divide the realm between them. Rhaenyra is quietly, diplomatically, permanently removed from power. She never wins, but she survives. Ending 2. Nobody reaches Daenerys in time. King's Landing burns 200 years ahead of schedule. Aegon dies, his children die. The Iron Throne melts into a puddle on the floor of a throne room that no longer exists. There is no throne left to fight over. Daenerys rules over ash and silence, and a continent that will spend the next century trying to rebuild. She got everything she wanted. She can't look at what she did to get it. Ending 3. There is no Jon Snow in this era. No one who loves her enough to make the impossible choice. The Dragon Queen burns the realm and calls it liberation. History names her the worst Targaryen who ever lived. Worse than Aerys, Worse than Maegor the Cruel, because she knew exactly what she was doing, and she did it anyway. Rhaenyra lost the Dance of the Dragons because she felt too much and acted too slowly. Daenerys would have lost because she stopped feeling entirely and acted without mercy. The dance was already a tragedy about two people destroying everything they loved while trying to hold on to power. Add Daenerys, and it doesn't become a better story. It becomes a darker one. So here's my question for you. Does Daenerys save the realm or burn it to the ground? Drop your answer below. I read every single one. And if you want more of these dark Targaryen timelines, the stories they never showed you, subscribe to the Unwritten Chronicles. We're just getting started.